1, 2, 3, 4.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another hilarious episode of Home Baked Takes. I'm your host, Luke, and as always, I'm here with the one and only Tennyson. How you doing today, Tennyson?
Hey there, Luke. I'm doing fantastic. Ready to tickle some funny bones and make our listeners burst out in uncontrollable laughter.
Wow.
But before we dive into the fun, did you hear about that new recipe I tried? It was a disaster. But I'm officially banned from cooking with fire extinguishers. Who knew they were flammable too?
Oh, Tennyson, you never fail to surprise me. Flammable fire extinguishers, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's like wearing swim goggles to a salsa dance party. A recipe for disaster. Am I right?
I know, right.
Hey, but speaking of disasters, I recently attempted to juggle watermelons. Let's just say my living room turned into a fruit salad before I could say circus act gone wrong.
Oh, Luke, my friend, I can picture it now. Watermelon chunks flying through the air, your dog trying to catch them like a pro fetcher.
Mm-hmm.
That's one way to get some juicy entertainment at home. But hey, at least it's a refreshing alternative to confetti cannons for celebrating your achievements.
Absolutely, Tennyson.
Just remember, wear a poncho next time.
Oh, I'll make sure to stock up on ponchos and turn my living room into a splash zone for our next party.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of parties, do you hear about the snail who threw the wildest soiree in town? It took forever for the guests to arrive, but boy, once they did, it was a shell of a good time.
Oh, Luke, you cracked me up. A snail hosting a party? That must have been the slowest dance floor ever. I could just imagine the DJ playing the all-time...
Keep going. The all-time classic pit.
The all-time classic hit, Escargot Rhapsody. And don't even get me started on the after-party cleanup. It probably took them weeks to find all the lost antenna.
Tennyson, you never disappoint with your snail-paced wit.
Oh.
But let's not keep our listeners waiting any longer. We've got a jam-packed episode filled with laughter, quirky facts, and maybe a few surprise guests. So grab your popcorn, put on your chuckle caps, and let's get this show on the road.
That's right, Luke. Get ready to buckle up, folks, because we're about to take you on a laughter-filled roller coaster ride. So sit back, relax, and let's chat our way to comedy glory. Welcome to Home Baked Takes, where the punchlines flow like a river and the giggles never cease.
There it is.
Well, thank you, ChatGPT, for writing us that hilarious intro.
And you know, I'm so glad we've been able to implement ChatGPT. It's such a relevant timepiece that when we come back years from now looking at this podcast, we're going to be like, right, that's what was happening at this time.
Exactly,
People were
yes.
making up fake essays, making up fake podcast intros.
Absolutely.
And everything else,
honestly, it's freeing to not have to think of an intro,
Yeah, it's sometimes it's pretty overwhelming, but
It is.
we're here. And all this talk about ChatGPT writing and intros and whatever else it is has really got me thinking about just like the future and my own childhood too.
So the future and the past.
The future and the past, the time as a whole, as a continuum even.
Gotcha.
And something I've been thinking about a lot recently was games, especially like video games that I played as a kid that I just never think about today. Like I feel like video games have, especially like for our generation, have sort of changed and evolved over time. And there's clear like kid games that we played when we were younger, and now like the kind of games we play today are just totally different. You know what I'm saying?
They're very different. I mean, you can see the passage that time has taken both in games and the way we play them. There's different, there's many different ways to play games now. Many different kinds of video games, and just the market is honestly massive now for video games compared to what it was 30 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm hoping some of our audience can relate to some of these games. So first off, I want to start with probably the most classic kid game that I think sort of, invited a generation to computer type games and a level of, interaction between you and the computer and finding, lasting fulfillment there. And that would have to be Webkinz World.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, come on. There's nothing else that, like, I can't remember a game first that I was so focused on making sure, like, that I was coming back to. Because, like, my pets could die, maybe. I don't think they could, but maybe they could.
I mean, who knows? I mean, you don't want to test that to make sure. That's not worth it.
That's horrifying. I wouldn't want to potentially prevent my chocolate lab from
I mean,
passing away.
Jack the Bulldog needs to eat. I'm going to feed him.
Seriously, Spidey the spider monkey needs to eat.
Exactly. What are you going to do?
He needs to have some of that, like, what's it called? Glop? When you like fail a task and
I don't even remember. That's way long ago.
Yeah. And of course, how could we ever forget the curio shop? You know?
Oh,
welcome to the curio shop.
of course. The Wheel of WoW.
The wishing well. So many staples that were daily, incentives to come back over and over again.
Exactly. The cash cow.
Well, that was a mini game because you could play that at any point. But yes, cash cow and like the ching every time you got like one of the Tetris blocks. Yeah, legendary.
Incredible game. Incredible sound design.
Yeah, and I think there's some legendary games in that community, but I remember specifically, especially on the feeding animals part. There was one time when I was like 7, maybe 8 years old. And for some reason we were playing we were having a family game night in my house, right? And I don't know if you've ever played the game. I think it's called what's it called? Like Who Knew or something.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, but there's like a bunch of cards for that, right? Mm-hmm. And at some point we were towards the end of that game, and we were throwing some cards around the room. And my dad says, "Okay, I'll let you throw all of these cards around the room and just like throw them everywhere, and I'll clean them all up. But in return, you have to go 30 days without screens."
Ooh.
So to me,
negotiation tactic.
I know. I was like, okay. Today, obviously, I'm like, that's the most raw deal I've ever seen in my life. But for some reason, whether it was peer pressure with my sister at that age or just genuinely not understanding delayed gratification, we chose to throw the cards around the room. So for about 5 minutes of fun, threw like 2 decks of cards basically around the room, and they littered the room, and it was a jolly good time. And then we went to bed, and then woke up the next morning, and it was over.
Oh no!
I vividly remember being in a Wise Markets, looking at the cash register and thinking, "Oh my gosh, my spider monkey in Webkinz World is going to die because I'm not feeding him."
Oh, that's
because I decided to throw cards around a room instead.
That sounds emotionally traumatic.
It was kind of traumatic. I think I really made peace with it in a way, sort of because I think I was supposed to make peace with it. But
yeah, that was kind of the idea, I guess.
Yeah, but it was definitely a good feeling to come back. And I think I even tried to do the whole, Mom and Dad, I honestly don't even really want to play anymore. So they would be like, you know what? That's so good to hear. You know what? You can use it again. Trying to do
Did it work? Did that work?
No way. It's the kind of dream negotiation tactics you use when you're 7. That was the last line, my last attempt, but yeah, didn't work unfortunately.
Well, yeah. So Webkinz World, that was probably the first game I really got into. Mm-hmm. I think of also in terms of early childhood, we got a Wii pretty early on in my childhood.
Oh yeah,
and that was that opened some doors for sure.
Seriously,
I think first game we got was Mario Kart.
You guys got Mario Kart off bat?
We got Mario Kart off the bat. Yeah,
I'm so jealous.
Yeah, and we still have it to this day. Mm-hmm. We break it out sometimes, I
mean, that's become almost like a timeless piece. Like it came out when we were young, and we played it when we were young. And
yeah.
Honestly, I still will play it occasionally to this day.
No, yeah, it's a great breaking it out every once in a while.
Yeah.
Honestly, a great game.
I'm honestly still so jealous though that you got Mario Kart first. When we first got our Wii, we got only games that would require us to move around. It was like a way for us to sort of get active. So any game where we could sit down and play and be fine, no way. So Just Dance was super popular.
Oh yeah.
And if we played Wii Sports, we had to stand up. If we were playing tennis, we had to do the motion with our hand.
Yeah, right.
They would get mad if we actually just sat down.
Oh, so that your parents made you?
Well, I mean, at first that was the idea. When they weren't. They're like, stand up, come on, and we did, just because that was the right thing to do.
Gotcha. I mean, you can probably get a better swing too.
Yeah.
Baseball, tennis.
Yeah.
If you're standing up.
I mean, later we eventually got Mario Kart just because you have to, which is honestly still one of the best games of all time.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Video game staple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, another computer type game that I think about, because obviously the Wii is just that if I think about a time span of these games that have influenced my life, I feel like Webkinz World is a pinpoint, but I feel like the Wii and all the games that can be played on it sort of form this massive span that have been through a lot of my life. I think of another specific game. I don't know if this rings a bell to you at all. Pop Tropica. You remember Pop Tropica?
Pop Tropica.
Dude, I know. It's a deep dig.
That is a throwback.
But I was thinking about this game like a few years ago, and I remember getting back on, and like all like 2/3 of the islands that I played when I was younger are either like have like a paywall or they're just gone.
Really?
Yeah. It was so depressing. Like
Oh.
some of the OG ones, like, you know, Spy Island.
Spy Island. Oh, dude.
I think that's gone. Sharktooth Island.
No.
I think is gone. Sharktooth Island was fantastic.
Oh my goodness. Those were like two of the best ones.
And literally my favorite of all time. If you know what I'm talking about, I love you so much. Skullduggery Island.
Ooh,
You remember Skullduggery?
Wait, was that the Bones one?
Yes. That was
Okay,
where
yeah.
you made a pirate ship and then had to go around and fight little other pirate ships in like the waters. And then when you beat them, you got their salvage. And then you could trade the salvage
Right.
in for like a better boat. And every time you came into port, you got to see
Okay.
your boat and you got to like progressively better and better. And then you
Wow.
could like hire crew who would like give you upgrades. So like the person would make your boat faster. And then one person would like give you cannonballs. Oh my gosh. It was a genius game.
Oh my goodness.
So
I
much
think I
fun.
missed that one. I apparently didn't do that one.
Dude.
That doesn't sound
Oh
familiar.
my gosh. Skullduggery. Just the best Pop Tropica island ever. Are there any Pop Tropica islands that you remember specifically?
Oh, I mean Spy Island.
Yeah.
That was probably the majority of my playtime.
Yep.
Went to that one.
The laser hair removal and the guy that's like in the mech thing
Oh,
or whatever.
that's-
Yeah.
Yeah, sneaking
Oh.
around.
You know what else? Superhero Island or whatever it was, where you had to like go and fight like those bad guys that like came around, and there's like the one person that like had the
Oh.
green hair and would like stomp on the ground, and then if you were standing on the ground, he would like kill you or something. Remember what I'm talking about?
I think I do.
Oh my
you know
gosh.
what? Reality TV Island.
Reality too, where you could like vote people off.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You would try to like do the survivor challenges and
Uh-huh.
like shimmy up the green branches and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Try to stay in.
I just laugh thinking about the way that the Pop Tropica characters moved around. Like you
With
just
like
held
the
it.
head detached from the body.
Yeah, and like they would like do like 5 like flips as you were like jumping off a cliff or something, land on their head and then just keep walking.
Listeners, if you haven't played Pop Tropica, please go watch some videos of this, or go play it yourself.
Yeah, go watch a Spy Island Pop Tropica walkthrough.
Yes. Watch someone play through this because it will open your eyes.
Yeah, the kind of lore that you get from 24 Karat Island is just not the kind of quality stories you get anymore in games today.
Exactly.
You know,
It's a whole nother level back then.
seriously. Any other games that really just bring you back that sort of defined your growing up?
Well, there used to be this website called Cool Math Games, and that had a whole host of games. I remember like me and my siblings would like that would be the thing we did like on Saturday morning. Like if we weren't watching cartoons, like we were playing
Cool
cool
Math.
math games.
Yeah.
And there were tons of games on there. I mean, some personal favorites. I mean, Papa's Fruzzeria, obviously.
Oh, the
like,
Papa's games. Honestly,
any
that,
one of those.
let's pause on Papa's.
That
Papa's
is an
franchise.
entity in itself, honestly. So what was your go-to Papa's game?
Oh my gosh, it's hard to say. I always loved Papa's Cupcakeria. That was a classic
Okay,
for me.
that's solid.
Freezeria, OG. Like that's where it's at. I also really liked Wingeria a lot too, but that was a bit harder to do. What were your go-to?
I tried Papa's Burgeria.
Burgeria, yep.
Burgeria. That was kind of mid in my opinion. But I did like the Sushiria.
There's a Sushiria.
I think there is a Sushiria.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea.
They have practically every kind of food group you could.
Yeah, every food.
Pancakeria was good.
Yeah,
That was a good
Pancakeria
one.
was a very good
That
one.
was a solid game.
Yeah, so Cool Math Games is literally a treasure trove of quality games.
Oh,
and literally,
yeah.
it's like the fact that it's called Cool Math Games made parents around the world just immediately okay with it.
Educational, right?
It's educational.
Cool math.
It's not educational at all.
There's no math.
Literally no math involved. There's like the off websites at the bottom of the website that you could go to and like actually get math
like
games.
the resources. Yeah.
Exactly. But all the really good games, I mean, even like the most classic ones that we play today, like even 2048, like I play that in my college classes.
Oh, yeah.
That was there too.
Yeah.
It was a database of quality content.
I mean, you got the world's hardest game on there.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Trying to do that. There was, what else was there? I don't even know.
I was in a college class just over this past semester, and I like to sit next to my friends, as people do, right? But the problem is when you sit next to your friends, you can make each other laugh. It's a very serious problem. So I was on my computer doing like Wordle or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then I proceeded to pull up World's Hardest Game, and I looked over at my friend next to me, and he looked me square in the eyes with the most deadpan look, and I almost lost it in the entire class. I had to close that out, and I just fell into myself trying to keep myself together, and I was out. I didn't know what the teacher said at all for like 5 or 10 minutes. So I was trying to get myself together, but there's just that like that intergenerational, or I should say like just international bond that comes from games like World Hardest Game that just everyone's played.
Right.
Everyone's
It's
just played
universal.
these games.
Yeah.
Cool math games is absolutely. I'm trying to think if there's any others that I remember. The first time I ever saw someone play cool math games, I think they were playing Paint Ninja. Do you remember Paint Ninja? You got like you swipe your little ninja guy around and he picks up different paint rollers and then he like colors in different areas of the map.
Oh, interesting. I remember Sticky Ninja, where you just like how you have to complete like an obstacle course where he like sticks around.
That's a classic too.
Yeah.
And speaking of Ninja, I think this is a great time to transition into phone games, which are they're separate, but you know they're definitely their own beast as well. And of course, when I say phone games, Ninja has to be
Fruit Ninja.
Of course,
obviously,
Fruit Ninja.
Fruit Ninja.
Like that's the kind of game that like Fruit Ninja. What are some other ones? Temple Run.
Yeah.
I mean, even like Angry Birds. Like these games, like defined the do you have games on your phone generation.
Exactly. Like, you know? if a kid's asking, can I play games on your phone? They want to play either Angry Birds, Temple Run, or Fruit Ninja. Like those are the big three, really, right?
Oh yeah, completely. I remember the first time I really asked my parents if I could get like Temple Run on my phone or my iPad. Let's be very clear, my iPad.
Of course, yeah.
And the very first time they were like, they had to like look at it and do all this research and everything, and they're like, no, this is not a game we're gonna get right now. And then randomly, like a few months later, I was staying at this house where like all the adults did stuff together, and you just had to bring your kids along because whatever. And I offhandedly said, hey, can I get Temple Run? And they were like just so casually about it. Oh yeah, sure, no problem. And I was like, hold up. And because this was like me coming out into the adult circle, right?
Oh, okay.
So I was thinking maybe they just weren't really thinking about it because they were distracted, or
maybe it was the other parents being there.
Maybe the peer pressure that they don't want to, I don't know though. But regardless, it just felt so like unbelievable that they would just so casually be like, oh yeah. And then I proceeded to play so much of Temple Run on my iPad. Yeah.
I want to look here, honestly, because I might have some of the, I don't know if I still have some of the OG games. Did you ever play Lux Deluxe?
Okay, that's such a hyper-specific game. I mean, yes, I have played Lux Deluxe. Have you?
For listeners who don't know, Lux Deluxe is the computer version of Risk. You can now play it on mobile. I actually play it on mobile occasionally.
Do you?
If I'm got nothing else better to do.
Yeah, and of course we have to give a shout out to the best variant of 2048, which of course is threes, where you combine different tiles of threes in ascending order rather than twos.
Yes,
and it's just a way better game design because there's characters.
Exactly.
And I remember you and like your family were the first people to ever tell me about threes, and it was such a random thing. And I was like, okay, this is interesting, I guess, whatever. And then I proceeded to be like 1,500 games later, still playing it to this day. I see. I'm looking on my phone here. I still have. Did you ever play Where's My Water? Oh my gosh,
the one with the little crocodile.
Yes.
You try to get the water to him.
Did you ever play the Phineas and Ferb knockoff called Where's My Perry?
No, I heard of that. I didn't play. I never played that.
I think I played that one way more than Where's My Water. But Where's My Water? My goodness, that takes me back.
There was a lot of levels to that.
Oh,
I feel like I never actually finished the game.
I just thought of the phone game, Cut the Rope.
Ooh,
there it is. That's the deep cut. Cut the Rope. I mean, that little monster is a cultural icon. It's a cultural icon.
Honestly, influencer, right?
Yeah,
game influencer.
These characters were the first influencers.
The OG influencers
to just touch the life of so many people. When I think about phone games, one of the memories I specifically have, and this will kind of go into, I guess we're sort of working our way up here in terms of age and getting older.
Yes.
A game I've wanted I did want for the longest time, the highest grossing game of all time, of course, Minecraft.
There
obviously. It is. I remember playing that with my cousin once, and like I didn't get the game until like 4 or 5 years later.
Yeah.
And that was because I was able to convince my parents that I could do like creative stuff with it and like basically practice my creative mind through creative mode. And then I proceeded to only play survival. It's so fun. But when I first got like my little iPad mini, of course I wasn't allowed to have Minecraft at that point. Of course. And I was like, well, wait a minute. I could just get Minecraft on my iPad for like $5. Switch up the game entirely. And for some reason, I don't know why, maybe it was just the Holy Spirit convicted me to ask my parents for it first. And it was like, it was there. I could have just had it, you know, it was within grasp. I could have just paid it, downloaded it, and moved on. But unfortunately, I decided to knock on the bathroom while my dad was in the bathroom and asked him if I could get Minecraft on my iPad. And of course, he was like, no. Yeah. But the whole point about the whole problem with Minecraft is this: my parents thought it was Mindcraft, like some psychic, like spiritual
fortune teller
thing.
Stuff,
right?
Like you're paying a psychic.
And literally years later, I had to describe to them it's Minecraft, not Mindcraft. So they thought it was like this, like potentially demonic, like spiritual warfare thing going on, when it was literally just breaking blocks and crafting items.
So how much later did they realize this?
They realized that during our discussion of whether I was able to get it for the creative stuff.
Oh, okay.
That's when I was like pleading my case. Because like, and I'm so glad I did, just because there's so many amazing childhood memories made through that game.
It's limitless possibilities, like in terms of a sandbox game where you can just do whatever. Like, yeah. And of course, limitless possibilities.
But I feel like most of my childhood memories were not even in single player. I feel like most of the best memories from that game are like playing with friends on like Hypixel or other like, you know, Mineplex, any other classic servers that we're missing. I'm sorry. But like those are like the good old days that like, it was just easier back then. You know what I'm saying? Just when life was easy.
Life felt simple back then.
Yeah. Yeah. Minecraft. Anything else you want to say about Minecraft?
I mean, honestly,
there's so much you could say.
I mean, there's a lot that could be said about it, but I think it's impressive that a game has been around for so long and been able to stay relevant. I mean, there's been phases for sure of like, you know, going in and out of popularity, but I mean, in terms of a game that's been like consistently played and consistently liked by like generations, I guess not.
I mean, no, seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, like the youngest millennials were playing it when it probably first came out as like teenagers. And then of course Generation Z is like, that's it. And even like Gen Alpha, like this new generation, they're looking up to like Twitch streamers and YouTubers that are playing it with other people
and wanting to do that as their job. Like.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is seriously like influencing millions of people's lives easily. So
maybe we should transition to like games that we actually play now,
that we still play,
that we actually currently play. Because I mean, when I think about it, I don't play Minecraft nearly as often as
unfortunately
I did.
Really, unfortunately,
it is unfortunate because it's a great game, and
I need to get back on Bed Wars, you know, get some wins. But I feel like if I went actually back, I'd be only playing against really good people that are still playing.
There are a lot of sweats out there. Yeah, I know a few sweats.
Do you?
Yeah.
Personally,
yeah.
Really?
I'm not going to name names, but you know, some have surpassed 1,000 stars, you could say.
Wow, I did not know that you know 1,000-star sweats.
Yeah, so.
But I guess they know who they are.
They know who you are. You know who you are, guys.
If you're listening and you're over 1,000 stars,
yeah,
my goodness,
it's crazy. But yeah, what are some current games that you're still playing? I
mean, okay, I feel like the games that I play nowadays are wholly defined by like social interaction. Like I very rarely play games just for me, you know, like even if it's like a single player game, like even like a single player phone game where really most of the interaction of it is with yourself and like you're doing it by yourself and you're upkeeping your farm or whatever.
Yeah.
The reason I play it is because I know other people that are playing it, or because there's a potential for like social interaction and like communal conversation there. Right. So like even honestly, like after like I came back from college, some of my friends were like, let's just play Minecraft for fun. And I played it sometimes with them too, just because that's what was applicable there. So it's really, for me, it's like looking for games that I can play with people that would be together, you know? Like,
interesting, yeah.
Even like Overwatch has been a game that I put a lot of time into. That was more like high school era Luke for that.
Okay.
And like I remember I used to play it just like by myself. I mean, that's just so lame. That's just so
Yeah.
like I just, well, not lame, but I just found it like looking back on that, that's just, I'm missing out on so much. So from that, since then, it's only really been if I've been with other people that I could play it with. Otherwise, it's like why even bother?
Gotcha.
Just
So the social component is key for you.
Yeah, like just getting on and like seeing your friends online and or saying, hey, who wants to play right now? That's like that's just where it's at.
Right.
Yeah. Even with like Fortnite, which this isn't really a Fortnite, you know, I don't feel like our community is really a Fortnite community, but it definitely needs to be mentioned at least because when it was at its peak, oh, that game was untouchable. It was so good.
Yeah, I never personally got into that game.
Did you ever play it?
I never played it. No,
Wow.
I never played a single game of Fortnite.
Do you regret that?
I can't say that my life is worse off not playing Fortnite.
Yeah, that's fair. Do you feel like there's any games today that you feel like you're actually like putting time into when you have free time or you're just bored or looking for a place to get your eyes on the road or something?
Well, it's funny you say eyes on the road because during the school year I was, going through a lot of like tough school assignments and there was a lot of pressure and I just needed something to help me decompress and kind of relax.
Sure.
And I heard about this game on a podcast. The game is called Euro Truck Simulator. And basically the gist is you're a truck driver delivering goods to different companies. And it's literally like you drive on the road for hours. Like you have a little GPS and you type in your route and then you drive. And then there's other cars on the road and you just have to deliver it without crashing, basically.
And what happens if you crash?
And if you crash, well, depends if you're having a rented truck, like if you're doing it for a company. If you have your own truck, you have to pay for any damages. But if you don't pay for your own truck, they pay for everything, the company that hired you, and you just basically have to get towed away. I didn't know that at first when I first played it, so I was just like lying flat on the side because I did a wrong turn, and now I'm just on the ground thinking, how am I ever going to play this game anymore? My truck's done. Like,
wow. So for someone who's never played Euro Truck Simulator, what is the point? Do you get like, is it getting money? Or do you like take the money and you like buy upgrades? Or?
Yes, yeah. So you can buy upgrades. The point is to get money from driving around. So you do a job, you get hired, and then you drive, and then if you complete the order well, you get money. You get with the money you can buy upgrades. You can buy trucks. You can
you hire people?
I don't know actually.
And have they implemented like electric vehicles and like self-driving, or is that literally defeat the entire point of the game?
I think that's actually like not the game.
That's not the
game. That's not the game.
It's not staring at your computer as your truck drives itself.
It's not autonomous vehicles based.
And do people like connect steering wheels so that they can like actually have the full experience?
I'm sure people do, and that's a little sad to me.
Do you have a steering wheel?
I personally don't have a steering wheel, but
I thought you were about to hear about your entire gas pedal and steering wheel.
my entire setup for the car. No, but I mean, it probably would make the game more immersive. Honestly, it's just there's something so therapeutic about it, and just constantly like there's nothing really exciting happens. Like I'll just like put on the podcast and drive around, and it's just really calms me down.
So it's definitely more of like a getting space and silence, decompressing type of video game. Not like can you play with other people? Is this the kind of game you could do socially? Yeah,
I think there is a multiplayer feature. I'm not really sure how it works because nobody I know will download it.
Right. Does it cost money?
It costs $5 for the full version. Okay. So you do got to lay down a couple bucks, but it's entirely worth it.
Entirely worth it. Do you ever look at yourself while you're playing and go like, I'm just throwing hours into the void of time? Or are you like, no, this is good. I'm glad I'm doing this.
You know, if it didn't help me relax, it would be like, what am I doing? But because it's just like a nice time to like get away and just like decompress from the cares, my cares of the world.
And then you get a knock on your bedroom door and it's just all stripped away immediately.
It does look very stupid to watch something play it. I will say that.
So do you like, yeah, I'm sure it does. But the point is that it matters to you, and that's what's important.
Exactly. That's what if a game matters to you, then feel free to play it without the judgment of your friends.
Absolutely. Well, this has been definitely insightful to look back through games over time, looking at Webkinz and then like other browser games like Pop Tropica and, Cool Math as a haven of games, really. And then to even look at today, where I feel like most of the games that I'm even playing are either short, fast mobile games that I can just do while I'm like in the bathroom,
right? Or
like something that I can actually do to connect with other people. Outside of that, I don't really feel like there's much of a place that I've found personally where games can sort of fit in. Other than that, like there's recreational games like that aren't even really what we're talking about, that are like chess or like poker, but that's
those are things you can
entirely.
do in person. Yeah.
I
also think of we forgot to mention Smash Bros, Super Smash Bros.
Smash Bros,
which
with the Wii, with the Wii,
with the Wii, we can play it. We played it with the Wii at first, and then you got like Nintendo Switch and stuff like that. But
apparently people dislike Brawl, but I don't want to sound ignorant, so I'll just go ahead and say they probably have a point. That's what I'll say.
Okay.
I just listen.
Diplomatic answer.
When I get on Ultimate, right, and I see this just slew of characters that I can choose from,
there's just too many.
It's just too much.
It's just too many.
It's just overload. And then I see people playing characters that look like people, and I'm like, are we playing Smash Bros or are we just playing like Street Fighter? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing here?
Right, exactly. Why do I need a dark pit and a pit? Can I just have a pit?
Right, like I want to see Mario, a cartoony character, fight like Kirby. Like that's what I want to see. That's why I'm playing Super Smash Bros. I don't want to see two humanoid characters with legs walking around fighting each other. It just defeats the point. But I guess I'm probably angering an entire community by saying that. So
maybe they'll be coming after you after that.
So accept my pre-apologies on that one. Yeah. Well, certainly, listeners, if there's any games that stick out to you a lot, please reach out either to our business email, hbtakes@gmail.com, or on the comments of this video if you're watching it on YouTube. Or, you all probably more likely than not have our phone numbers as well. So reach out. We can shout you out in the next video too. So, or the podcast, of course.
Yeah. So that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you all for listening. Be sure to give us a rating on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
If you're into that.
Or Spotify.
Or Spotify. You can leave us a review, anything you want to. But yeah, just thanks for listening.
Yeah.
See you guys.
Peace.
Yeah.